Hey, good evening, Mohammed. Soumyadeep, good evening.
Good evening, Soumya.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Siddharth. Venkat is joining us.
Yep, Surya should be joining.
Yeah,
I'll check with him.
sure.
You should say that. Let's start.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah. So, Prashant sir is yet to join us, so we'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll get started with team one. Hi, good evening, everyone. So, we have our juries here today, but I think we can just wait for 2 more minutes. We'll just wait for others to join the event.
Wait for the put up.
Hi, very good evening, everyone, and dear jury members. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday evening. And this is Soumya, and it's be a pleasure to be a host for next couple of hours. The Institute of Product Leadership welcomes you to the Skillathon in Product and AI, in Predictive AI and Product Management by the cohort of AI Product Management Certification Program. Our participants will present their innovative solutions, and our esteemed juries will evaluate them on the key parameters. As Skillathon goes, it promises to be an evening filled with excitement, challenges, and skill demonstration. This is an event where top shortlisted participants from the cohort presents their hands-on projects, portfolio towards assurance of skill to demonstrate, problem statement and productive AI product vision, synthetic data and generation and AI validation, prototype demonstration, deployment and adoption strategy. Before we get started, I would like to thank the audience and juries for joining us on a Saturday evening. And today's session is going to be some great learning takeaway. The cohort will walk the talk of IPL mantra, that's learning by doing. Let me begin this session by giving you an insight what skillathons are and why IPL emphasize skillathons being the real test of skills. Skillathon is an event where top performing learners demonstrate their understanding of skill and application of the same in the context of real world product ideas. The learning journey to industry experts and other learners. AI product management certification is globally recognized program, assurance of skill versus knowledge, focused on career transition or acceleration and learning by doing. Today we have three prolific two of leading industry practitioners. We have Mr. Prashant P. He's the Associate Director of Product for Data and AI from PepsiCo. Welcome, sir. Welcome to today's event. We would like to know more about you.
So hi everyone, thank you very much for having me, and I'm really excited to see what the different teams have come up with. So a little bit about me. So I'm currently an associate director with PepsiCo. I take care of a portfolio of products in the data and AI function of our company. And yeah, I've worked with different organizations, particularly around retail and CPG, and I've been leading ML-based products from about 2017 now. Yeah, so good amount of experience in terms of scaling products, and also identifying places where we can essentially introduce a digital intervention. And I'm super excited to see what the teams have come up with today, and how they have absorbed the problem statements, and also the challenge that this skillathon sort of it's a multivariate challenge, and I want to see how I'm excited to see how all the teams sort of iterate and ideate around the problem statements that they have identified. Yeah, that's about me.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the introduction. We have Shivang Patil, who's Head of Product Enterprises at AA Platform from Walmart. Welcome, sir.
Yep.
We'd
Yeah,
like to know
thanks.
more about you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to see all the projects that you guys have come up with, and thanks to to Soumya for you for sharing all the rubrics and everything, very well organized. I think the framework that you guys have set up is going to kind of help all the participants learn and understand how to kind of build AI products. At Walmart, we learned, like, I was leading a team that transitioned Walmart from the natural language understanding to Gen AI to agent workflows, and there was a lot of learnings, and I'm looking to see how those learnings are kind of shows up over here. Well, how do you build a product where 100 million people are using it at scale? How do you make sure that the cost is in control? How do you make sure that there's right governance and guardrails? So we learned everything at Walmart the hard way, because we were on the bleeding edge, but would love to understand how the team is kind of going to implement it going forward. So yeah, super excited to be here.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us today. So now let's look into the guidelines for the event, today's event. So as given, it'll be a 10 minutes presentation with 5 minutes of Q&A by the feedback and by the juries. Juries will cast their vote on scale of 5 to 1, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. So once the presenter is done, audience, please keep your phone ready to scan the QR and you can cast your votes for the team. Okay. And now let's begin these presentations for the day. So we have team one, Venkat and Siddharth Mishra, who will be presenting for us. Hi, Venkat. Hi, Siddharth. Can you share your screen?
Yes, sure. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Siddharth.
Hello, everyone. I'm Surya.
Let me, if someone can confirm they're able to see the screen.
Yes, Siddharth, your screen is visible.
Okay. Okay, so let me start. Good evening, everyone. Today our team, Surya and I, unfortunately, our third team member, Bhavesh, couldn't join. We are presenting our idea on Project Orbit. We are calling it Predictive System to uncover untapped expansion revenue for B2B enterprise teams. So the challenge basically that we're trying to, that we face, that we have identified is of reactive management. Today, B2B account management operates in the rearview mirror. Companies companies blindly rely on static lagging metrics like raw account logins. This creates the silent churn, where accounts appear active on paper, but their underlying feature adoption is collapsing. Human managers simply can't catch these multivariable shifts across hundreds of clients. As a result, we are consistently blindsided by unexpected non-renewals, while sales team waste valuable time pitching upgrades to unstable accounts. This reactive firefighting directly exposes our net revenue retention and damages the company valuation. So the solution that we are proposing is Project Orbit. To solve this, we built Project Orbit, an AI engine that shifts customer success from reactive guessing to predictive intelligence. Orbit continuously analyzes product telemetry, financial CRM, and customer support tickets to inject three clear numerical insights directly into our workflow. These three are the churn likelihood index, instantly flagging whether an account is stable, at risk, or in a high churn emergency. The second is the expansion intent score. It measures behavioral readiness, so the account executive can pitch upgrades when a client is highly engaged. And the third is the expansion potential grade, classifying the account's structural financial capacity. Uh, in terms of the measurable business impact, ultimately, the predictive power must translate into the financial impact. During our pilot, Project Orbit delivered massive quantifiable results. By intercepting at-risk accounts early, we achieved a 23% reduction in the annual churn rate, while simultaneously generating a 31% increase growth in our expansion pipeline by laser targeting high intent customers. When you plug the revenue leaking out at the bottom and accelerate expansion scaling up the top, you directly supercharge the net revenue retention, driving an estimated 8 to 12 point uplift. In the B2B SaaS environment, in the B2B SaaS organizations, net revenue retention is the ultimate driver of company valuation. So by protecting over a $9.6 million in ARR, Project Orbit proves it isn't just a reporting feature, it's a vital revenue infrastructure. So we use three data sources that we inject in our Orbit intelligence engine. The first is the product telemetry data, which talks about how the customers use the product. So some of these data points we have used as it is, some are feature engineered. The second data source is CRM and financial data, which talks about who our customers are and what they are worth. Again, it's a mix of raw data as well as feature engineered data. The third is the customer support data, where friction lives in the relationship. Again, here it's a mix of both raw as well as feature engineered data. When we feed all these data sources into Orbit Intelligence Engine, the three things that it generates is the churn likelihood index, expansion intent score, and the expansion grade. Moving on, I'll hand it to Surya to cover the subsequent slides.
Yeah, thank you, Siddharth. So at the core of the Orbit is a single machine learning framework, which is random forest. So this powers three critical business predictions. Depending on the business problem, we use two variants of random forest, which is classification and regression here. So the first prediction is expansion potential grade. So where we classify customers as high, medium, or low opportunity. So since we are predicting categories here, we use a random forest classifier. And when it comes to the second prediction, it is the expansion intent score. So as a continuous score, that indicates how ready a customer is ready to expand. Since the output is numeric, so we are using a random forest regressor here. And when it comes to the third prediction, it is a churn likelihood index. So which identifies customers that are at risk of leaving. So since we are again predicting the categories, so we use the same random forest classifier here. Together, these three predictions answer three simple business questions. One is where can we grow, who is ready to buy, and which customers are at risk. So with this, I can move to the demo.
Yep. Share this screen.
Yeah, so this is our Orbit Predictive AI. So basically, it's an AI-powered revenue intelligence platform that helps organizations proactively manage customer retention and growth. So this platform indicates, which customers are at risk, which customers are ready to expand, and which actions should we take next. So currently, Orbit is has identified 84 churn risks, 61 expansion opportunities, $6.5 million in ARR at risk, and $8.7 million in potential expansion revenue. So if I talk about overview, we have a chart called segment distribution. So this chart segments our 1,000 customers into churn risk, expansion, and stable groups. And coming to the next visualization, which is key signal. So
Hi,
here our
Surya.
prediction.
Sorry for the interruption. You have 2 more minutes.
Yeah. So our predictions are driven by three major signals. One is adoption velocity, sentiment trajectory, and ticket spike. Coming to the next visualization, we have early warning alerts. So our Orbit continuously monitors customer health and generates proactive alerts, enabling teams to act before a customer chance or before an expansion opportunity is missed. And coming to ARR breakdown, so this view converts the predictions into business impact by quantifying revenue at risk, expansion and opportunities, and stable recurring revenue. Coming to the industry and segment heat map, this heat map highlights where churn and expansion opportunities are concentrated across the industries, helping leadership teams to prioritize the resources and customer success initiatives. And the final one is like adoption velocity distribution for churn and expansion. So this visualization demonstrates how effectively the model separates the customer behavior here. So we have three different clusters over there. Yeah.
Thank you, Surya. I'll just quickly take you, I think, Soumya, we still have 3 minutes of time left. In terms of, it talks about, as we mentioned, it predicts three things: churn likelihood index, expansion intent score, and expansion grade. So for every account that we have fed into this model, it has predicted these three. So if I just click on, say, account number 24, it is predicting a churn likelihood index of 3, expansion intent score of 56, and expansion potential grade high. License utilization is high, adoption velocity is high, as also the sentiment trajectory is positive. We have also we went ahead and built an Orbit advisor. So what it does is, if I click on this particular account and click ask to generate an action plan, it will create an expansion plan for the account executive, for the customer success manager for the next 1 to 90 days. And it will tell what the account executive or the customer success manager can perform some of the actions in. So as you can see here, this account is operating at 89% license utilization, and these are some of the immediate actions the CSM as well as the account executive can perform. Then what are some of the actions need to be performed on days 31 to 60? And in the last 30 days, what are some of the actions to be performed? It clearly lays out a plan for the account executive and the CSM. And some of the key risk it has also highlighted here. So based on this plan, the account executive as well as the customer success manager can perform the action accordingly. So this use case is this account is an expansion plan target. If I click on the churn playbook save, I'll click on account number this, and if I generate an action plan for a customer account which is having a high, a customer churn likelihood index of 56, it will show what are some of the action that the account executive needs to perform. It is generating that as well. So as you can see here, this is the risk summary. What are immediate actions that one needs to take? Here in this account, it is showing a high, ticket velocity spike of 7. So that is the first thing it is asking to perform, and some of the things it is mentioning as part of the plan. Going to the slide again. Show the screen. I'll just take 10 more seconds to quickly summarize it. Just a second. So we have also built a value roadmap in terms of what needs to be performed in the next 1 to 18 months. I'll quickly skip this. And in terms of conclusion, we just want to mention that the Project Orbit, it turns telemetry into a revenue defense system. It builds 6 months of foresight. It provides 3 operationalized scores, 1 unified playbook for customer success managers, account executives, and revenue operations leaders. So this is what we are saying. ARR protected is around 9.6 million, NRR uplift of 12 points, and 12.8 million of expansion pipeline. So Orbit is not a reporting tool. It is a proactive revenue infrastructure and the foundation of an AI-first customer success organization. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Samya, is the
Yeah,
forum
thank you,
open
Siddharth.
for Q&A or?
Yes, sir. Can you give your feedback for the team?
Yeah, so you want us to give the score first and then some inputs, right?
Yeah, so first we'll have the feedback and Q&A, and then you can announce the score.
Okay, perfect. So I think, Prashant, should I go first or? You good? Okay, so I
Absolutely,
think,
please.
yeah, so one thing which I loved is like either one of you, someone from your team has some domain expertise. My wife leads customer success at Palo Alto, and I see her do all of these reports day in and day out. It's a lot of manual process. So I think +1 on identifying the problem statement with domain expertise. Where I feel that I'll quickly highlight some opportunities. It's not clear to me who the customer is, like dashboards, like even the CEO Nikesh Arora also looks at the dashboard that they create, and like the field application engineers also kind of like gets an input, right? So whom this product is for is little bit fuzzy. So
Okay.
I would encourage you to kind of like highlight that piece.
Sure.
The second area, which is like like I'm sure there are like integration, like the data stream and how can you sanitize the data was not clear to me in the short presentation that you gave. Like like the information from like account health comes from email conversations, Slack conversations. I think
Yes.
you
Yeah.
mentioned tickets, right? So I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
some of the easy low hanging fruits you kind of solved, which anyone
Yes.
would, but how are you actually capturing the sentiment outside of that is little bit fuzzy. Like there are meetings that are going on that gets
Yes.
very heated. So I
Yeah.
think those are the piece which I felt like in terms of like the like because the garbage in is garbage out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those were the areas where I would encourage you guys to kind of like think through next time. And
Definitely.
then in terms of like ethically, I was not sure on what you guys did in terms of like making sure there's privacy and like sustainability, transparency, like we are using all of this so I think that
Yes.
was
Yes.
bit fuzzy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So we
We
did
also,
have, yeah, we have the slide on that, but we,
yeah.
because of the 10 minutes that were allocated, we didn't
Fair
include
enough.
that. But we
Yeah.
have ensured that we are
Yeah.
using transparent and ethical AI when
Amazing.
we demonstrate with this.
Correct. But plus one, it's if there's not a product, you guys
Yeah.
should explore it. It's a real world
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Thank you for
actually,
the
we
feedback.
consider those
Yeah.
constraints also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'll
Shivang sir, your scores for the team?
Yeah. So don't go by the absolute number. Like look at the relative score. So I think maybe like 3.5 or something is what I would give. Yeah.
3.5. Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Prashant sir, your feedback and Q&A for the
Abs-
team?
yeah, I agree with everything Shivang mentioned earlier. Right off the bat, I think it's not very clear who is the core persona for this product, right? Because if you think about a customer success organization, right, where this product could potentially be used, depending on if you're going to target like the most elevated persona versus the most tactical execution level persona where some of your insights can be consumed upon, the product will change drastically. The front landing page itself of your product will change, right? So that is one. I think you guys have thought of it already, and because I don't see your front page very cluttered, I think it was for a fairly elevated persona, right? So you should have mentioned that, right?
Okay.
And that's one thing. Uh, and also, like the other part was that you explained in a way the domain, the problem statement, and what we are trying to achieve with this product. That was clear, but who will use the product is not very clear, was not very clear, right? Who's going to
Mm.
use the product and how they'll use the product was not very clear, right? In terms of you guys have good I think you guys have a bunch of machine learning engineers on your teams, right? So you guys were very specific about which model you're going to use. All of
Right.
that was clear, and that level of clarity is very important to actually believe on the results, right? So that is great. That's a plus one for me, right? There are small attention to detail cues on your product that you should notice.
Sure.
Very fine one, just go some repeated words here and there and all, right? Why that's important is that in a demo, you have only like a few minutes to judge a product, right? So attention to details, the product manager is developing the product. You guys are the final screen in front of whether the product should be
Yeah.
shipped or not, right? So
Yeah.
small cues, right? Nothing major, but
Sure.
if you go through it, you will realize there are repeated words here and there on your UX. Gen AI proposition was not super clear. I understand that there is a generate action plan kind of a feature that you had
Yes.
on your product, which essentially will take all of your structured data and put that into a narrative and put it out there. Great,
Yes.
I understand that, but that's a very it could have been better. That feature could have been better, right? And also, I think what you guys should have done is if you would have had clarity earlier whether you're going to build for an elevated persona
Mm.
or whether we are going to build for a tactical level persona, you would be able to introduce some text to SQL like conversational AI kind of a feature here, right? Because essentially you're sitting on a lot of data. You have a recommendation, you want to go, why is this recommendation, why, right? You want to dig down. So
Okay.
if you have a structured data product, you essentially want to use the approach of peeling the onion, right? So you want to
Yeah.
go layer by layer inside to understand the core reason why a certain recommendation from an engine comes through. But apart from that, great, good amount of research, great amount of domain expertise. Domain is the hardest thing to do, and yeah, impressive presentation. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
the
you. Thank
feedback.
you.
Thank you, sir. Your scores for the team, sir?
I would give this team all scores should be relative, so I would say this would be yeah, a 3 in my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
audience, it's time for casting a hold to the team. Please scan this QR. You have 20 seconds. Please start casting your votes. Okay, thank you. So here are the results. Okay, I'm so sorry. There is some technical glitch. So we'll move on to team two. I'll get it fixed. So team two, Saumyati and Muhammad Ashad, can start presenting your screen.
So,
Yeah, my screen is visible.
Yes,
yeah,
I'm
we
ready.
can see. So, may I see already the timer is
Yes,
running.
I can change it for
Can you
you.
reset that, please? Mm.
Yeah.
Will you be starting it? I don't see the timer.
Yeah, we can start it.
Okay, yeah. So, good evening, everyone, and good evening to the judges as well. So, today we are going to present our product idea called Complete AI, which is nothing but launch faster, launch right, and stay compliant. Presented by Somadip Sarkar from Nokia, Mohammad Irshad from JP Morgan Chase, and myself, Merin Joy from JP Morgan Chase. So, moving on, we also want to meet today our target persona, who is Priya Strategy Marketer. Now, Priya is a strategy marketer at a fintech platform. Her job is to spot market opportunities, design campaigns, and drive revenue. Now, talking about campaigns, right? We all get them. That email from your fintech, like get 10x rewards on your new car, or a personal loan offer that lands in your inbox exactly at the right moment, right? But going back, right, someone might have ideated it in the past. Someone might have planned the target segment, designed the message, calculate the ROI, and that someone is your Priya. Okay, she is good at her job, but in this year, in Q1, Q2, she planned 100 of campaigns. But then she observes a pattern that, okay, 60 performed, but 40 didn't. 40 are underperforming. And here's what it kept up in her inner night. So Priya digs in and she pulls the analytics on the 40 campaigns which were underperforming. She looks at the data post launch and then she finds two blind spots, which is your effectiveness and GONO or the success criteria. Now, based on this, the first blind spot, right, the effectiveness. So she has no signal before even drafting a single word that, hey, how many people would open the email? How many would click the email campaign which is in their inbox? How many would actually convert? He is flying blind on the very metrics that define whether the campaign would succeed or not. The second blind spot, which is your compliance risk. In a regulated industry like fintech, the wrong phrase, the wrong claim, the wrong customer segment, that just not a bad campaign, but also it goes to a regulatory explosion, right? And today, Priya has no way that how can this risk will know that whether there is a risk existed or not. She starts asking a different question. What if I could know before even writing a campaign that whether this campaign is worth building or not? What if I could see the predicted open rate, the click through rate, the score, get a clear go no decision or a go no verdict before even it goes to if it goes to a legal review? And that's the gap what we are trying to address. That it's a decision support that even before you draft a campaign, how I mean, is it even worth building? And if it is not worth building, can there be a product which can suggest them that, okay, can these are the segments or the criteria you need to improve for a campaign to get successful? And once you have this criteria, you also need to know that you also get an ability to generate a content which is already legally compliant. Now, moving on to the next slide, she looks at the market And she tries to see is there any players in the market who is trying to solve this problem, like it from pre-draft idea scoring, compliance risk, all the way to the audit trail. She sees that, okay, there are players like Kantar, Pasado, Click, all these tools exist. But every tool solves one problem or the one unmet needs of her to solve, but not the entire journey what she's targeting for. So the question is, should she use this tool, or should she switch to an existing tool which can solve the problem? And that is what exactly the Complete AI's predictive engine solves for. Moving on to the architecture.
Yeah, so thank you, Marin. So I will talk about the architecture, and I'll spend more time in the demo than going through the slide. So let me switch on to the Complete AI part. Let me restart it just a moment.
While you do that, do you want me to go ahead with the next ones, Samadhi?
No, it is already up. So yeah. So this is the tool that we have developed. Now in the tool, we are trying to understand whether this
Reshare
campaign.
again. We don't see the tool.
Yeah, we're only seeing the slide, not your UX if you're trying to demo it.
Okay, sorry. Let me. Yeah.
Okay. You can start sharing now, Samiti.
Okay. Let me know if it is visible.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So this is the tool that we have developed. And before we start the campaign, we'd like to understand whether is the campaign worth pursuing. Now, I have these parameters that I will fill, and then I'll run this. So let me put some parameters. So this is my product type. This is the campaign content. I'll say new product launch. Then this is for entrepreneur women. Then this is confidential, and I put this key message. This is our key message for the campaign. And once I press enter, it will run this effectiveness and go and no go score. It takes a minute. Yeah. And you see it has given us the score, the metric breakdown, what is the open rate prediction, click-through prediction, conversion prediction, how this is moving, which are the drivers, which is affecting the scores. Then it is at the borderline, and then we move to the risk score part, how this score is calculated, and what are the factors which is driving this score. Now it is also giving us a recommendation, what should we do in order for us to make this more effective. If I run this, then it rewrites the plan for us, and it will once again do the entire what if analysis to see what is the best way to achieve this. And this is what it has given us. And this has also updated the score. If you see, I will have to apply and repredict. And this will rerun this entire engine once again, and it will help us create the final score. Now see, the score has increased. The predict effectiveness has also increased. And this is how this entire thing works. So now we are in a position where we would know that, okay, the earlier campaign part had some issues which will not be like to proceed, but this is the updated one where we can go ahead and proceed. And finally, we can create the campaign, generate the campaign draft using our RAG-based solution. And this will go and check all the guidelines, legal guidelines from RBI, and it will give us a score whether we can now move to the next step where the legal reviewer will come and review the score. We have some other features, but at this moment we'll try to stick to the predictive part of it. And this is how we have generated this entire application. So even before we go to the, yeah, so I have got the compliance score. It is giving me the flag, exact wording that we should be putting in. And this is how this application is working at this moment. I will now hand it over to Muhammad, who will take you to the last two part of this
Can you
slides.
start, Samadhi?
Yeah.
Okay,
You will share?
you can start sharing it.
Okay, I'll stop share and reshare it. Yeah.
Do you want to share it? Like, I don't have the deck in front of me.
I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it.
So I'll get this started. The slide that we're trying to bring up is users and value. Who are our targeted users? Today, as Merin was mentioning, the three users, we'll talk about them in a bit. The slide will come up. Today, everyone finds out too late.
You are not able to see the slide? Sorry.
We can see, we can see.
No, yeah. So the three users, one is Priya, strategy marketer, Anand, legal, and Vikram, business. So Priya drafts on instinct with no signal until it's built. Anand burns 70% of his time polishing drafts that should never have reached him. Vikram, who funds the campaigns that look good but underperform. The predictive layer fixes all three by moving the decision earlier, before even a single line of draft for campaign is built, as Merin was mentioning, right? Before legal, before even a dollar is spent on that. So the payback is approximately 5 months. That's a platform number. 2.46 crore return on 89 lakhs invested, arriving faster because we score before we spend. It's a whole platform, not the predictive layer alone. The layer's own contribution shows up in next two boxes, which is 85 to 90% less wasted review, which saves about 36 lakhs per year. Reclined reviewer time, it is not hypothetical, and also the spend efficiency is increased by 2 to 4 times. The predictive layer here pays off because it kills or fixes weak and risky campaigns before two expensive steps in this process, which is drafting and legal review. So creative effort, legal time, and money are all recovered faster. These numbers are directional, it's trained on synthetic data, but the filter before you spend mechanism holds regardless of exact magnitude. Uh, Moving on to the next one, which talks about the roadmap. So there are four phases, one flywheel. As we go through each,
I'm Mohammed. Sorry for the interruption. You can take 30 seconds more.
sure, I'll quickly complete it.
Yeah.
So the phase one is to do with fintech, as Merin was starting with it. So financial services and insurance modules, the predictive scoring engine already running, CRM integrations and self-service onboarding. Phase two will be for pharma, three for healthcare and legal, and onward we'll deliver a full platform, all five verticals live, white label, listening, regulatory change, forecasting. This is IPO readiness industry, right? So IPO readiness story. And to conclude, we're not building five different products. We are building one predictive engine wearing five different rule sets. Each vertical is cheaper to add than the last. Like we are building on top of what we have. We're not trying to build five different things, spending that much money on each of the phases. We're just trying to build on top of each of the phases that we build. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Thanks for the presentation. So before getting into the feedback, let's look into the poll results of team one. So this is the poll results of team one. Okay, thank you. Prashant sir, your question and feedback for the team.
Got it. Okay. So a couple of things that you guys have done really well is I think you guys have presented the target persona for your product very well, right? And I think you've also touched upon like, who are your primary users, who are the second order, let's say, beneficiaries from the product, right? Once it's instituted, let's say. in the workflow of a company, right? So you clearly sort of have an understanding of what a value stream map is, right? So how introducing a product in one place in the overall product process helps downstream. That is good. Um, I think the problem statement itself also is a good one, right? I can relate to this because I mean, like working at PepsiCo, we're one of the largest customers of Kantar in the world, right? So, and we do a lot of marketing campaigns, right? And risk and perception is very core to the identity of our products, right? So, yeah, I relate to this use case. Feedback that I would have for you is that at the core fundamental level, your understanding of your persona is not reflecting well into the design of your product, right? So the way your UX is designed, it's utilitarian, right? It gets the job done, right? So don't so that is that's out of the way, right? It will get the job done, but in terms of the way you take the insight of who you're going to serve and convert that into a product that looks appealing, that is simple to use, right? And does not have a lot of cognitive load when you actually see it, right? That is the missing gap, right? So that is one thing that I would recommend that you focus on, right? The other thing also I would want to suggest, when you generate, so you have at a fundamental level, you have a campaign generator, right? So essentially you put, okay, this is my campaign, this is what I want to do, this is the people I want to target, and then it generates, let's say, a sample campaign for you, and then it ranks it, and then you can look at it and you can modify it and you can rank it again. So if that is the core proposition of your product, the way you generate the recommendations, right, in terms of how healthy a campaign could be from a prediction standpoint, the way those insights are to be consumed by the end consumers should be explained better as a part of your demo. You're going to give one example, right? So you should know that example very well rather than saying this is that, this is this, and this is that, right? Because we want that is an opportunity for you to make your example of your entire product, but much more real with a real example, right? Which is transferable, right? So it's a sequence of events that you talk about and you make it real. So that's one. And I am curious about one thing, right? You have a rack pipeline, right? Essentially, you have a bunch of structured data in the back, right? And you have a rack pipeline. How have you tested your entire product, right? Specifically the recommendation part of it.
Yeah, so for the recommendation, when the score is below a threshold, that is what you are asking.
No, what I'm asking is, how do you trust the results of your product? So what kind of evals have you written?
Okay, so what we have done is, so the RAG-based part is where we have fed in the lot of, let's say, the RBI guidelines. Now, I couldn't show you that, but that part also shows what are the reference that it has referred, and then it picks up all those, and it says that, okay, these are the areas where it has picked up correctly, whereas these are the areas where it is a bit out of, let's say, scope of the guidelines, and then it creates that score for us. So that part is there, but it is in the different part of the app. So it when the reviewer gets to see, it actually sees everything that the pipeline has been able to generate.
Okay, yeah. I think you should dabble into the concept of LLM as a judge. You should write an eval pipeline to see how exactly use another model to see if your predictions even make sense or not, right? That will be having, if you can say that you have done that, number one, it will allow you to scale, right? Because you can't really test everything by like you can't vibe check everything, right? So
Yes,
it'll let
yes.
it, it'll let you scale. And number two, it'll give you confidence that your stuff is actually working, right? So, and it'll also give confidence to let's say some technical users that your product actually has been evaluated by you and also by other models, right? So that's my recommendation. But great job, guys. Really good use case and good understanding of the persona, I must say.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So before getting into the next feedback from Shivang, sir, audience, please scan the QR and start casting your vote to the team.
Yeah.
Okay, Shivang,
Yeah,
sir,
so
your
Prasanna,
feedback.
I think you bring up a good point about evals because it's just real world example. If you like, my team runs Sparky at Walmart. If you like, our score was so low and we kept on iterating. So this feeds into the iteration process, which is ultra important. Anyhow, um, when you say campaign, I always think of Facebook's campaign manager, which means reels and post and all of those things. So is this just email?
At this moment, this is
At the moment,
only email.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
why just email?
So I
Because
can answer. Just add on, like, so majority of the campaigns happens through email today. Like 80% of it happens through email.
Do
So the
that.
phase one has emails, and then we have SMS, push notifications, and the things coming up, right? So we wanted to tackle the email portion first, so that we have majority covered. It is like 80
Fair
20.
enough. Fair enough. And then how are you mentioned something around like you're predicting the click-through rate, right? So how are you getting the what's your plan to get the data? Like how are you going to train your models on that?
So at this moment, what we have done is we took the assumption that whenever there is a click happening, we are capturing the details. Because it is through email, so we can track it, that whether the click has happened or not, whether the people have opened it or not, and so on. So
No,
that
I
is
understand what click-through
uh,
rate is.
uh,
What I'm asking is like you're predicting if I give you a campaign and the content, right? The
yes,
copy, then you will predict the click-through rate. How
yes.
are you what's the training data set that you have to predict that?
Okay, so if you have seen, we have certain parameters which we are using to create the campaign,
Mm.
and the product type, the customer segment, the message, the intent, and so on. So those are my initial feed that we are giving to understand whether we have seen a click through or not. And that is what we are feeding back to the model and asking the model to predict whether these kind of campaign with this kind of message and the intent, whether
Okay.
it will have a click through or not.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I think one thing which you mentioned towards the end about being a platform and being able to scale, that's the right way to think about it. So yeah, good job. And thanks for answering my question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So your scores for the team?
I would give 3.
I think I was
Sorry, sir.
supposed to give a score as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
So
scores, sir?
Shiva, I think Shivang mentioned a 3. I would be 2.5 on this demo. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So now it's time to look into the poll results. Here are the results. Thank you. Pratyush Agarwal, Team 3.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi, good
Let me
evening.
share my
Yeah,
screen and then start.
sure.
Please confirm when my screen is visible.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, right. Just
Yeah,
give me.
your time starts.
Yeah. So hi, good evening, everyone. So for the case of prediction AI, I took the use case of churn prediction at Zomato. So like what happens at Zomato is basically like I'm sure everyone has heard of Zomato, and millions of customers use Zomato on a daily basis for food deliveries. And Zomato has this problem at hand, which they try to solve is basically predicting the customers who are going to churn out their probabilities. But the bigger problem is like right now they're using the structured data for more predicting the customer churn out. They are unable to harness the information that's present in the text conversation which happens between the customers and the support executives. So that's where GenAI can play an important role. So with the popularity of GenAI, and the way GenAI can be used is basically it can convert these conversations into structured insights. It can do a deep semantic analysis of the text conversations and come up with the variables which can actually be complemented with supplemented with the structured information. And they can actually use the information for your real-time continuous model improvement. So why GenAI? Because it's not just it's reading the information, it's actually understanding the whole context of the conversation. It looks at the problem, it's look at the resolution, and then determine basically what's the frustration score, what could be the sentimental score, what's your dominant issue category, if there is any secondary issue category, what's that category which the standard prediction, the standard models for semantic analysis are enabled to do. Right. So, who is the user persona for this case? So basically, senior product manager working at Zomato's, customer retention and experience team is someone who would work on such a solution. Basically, their goal is to reduce customer churnout, increase customer lifetime value, to increase your, NPS and CSAT scores. So, that's where they think that, harnessing this customer chat information can be helpful to further improve the prediction model, and then to basically get insights into what's happening across different customers, and probably that will in turn help in elevating the the revenue and the business at Zomato. So what's the process that I followed? So, the whole process was like, basically I generated the synthetic data for 1,000 customers for Zomato across 60 key variables, and care was taken that a balance is maintained between churning customers, non-churning customers, true positive, true negatives, false positives, false negatives, all of that, and between different regions within India. And then for 300 out of these 1,000 customers, chat information was generated, like text conversations were generated, like 500 text conversations were generated for 300 customers at an individual chat level. Then these chats were analyzed, their semantic analysis was done using lexicon, BERT, and LLM models. And these chats were then, basically converted into, structured variables like sentimental score, frustration score, your categories and all of that. Then it was consolidated, the information was consolidated at a customer level. It was merged with the structured data set at hand. And then, all the variables were, like missing values were imputed, categorical variables were encoded, and then the whole model was basically split into 80-20, trained data set and the test data set, on which different prediction models were used, like random forest, XGBoost. And then finally, when we had the results, the results were compared, interpreted, and then the conclusions were drawn. So these chat data sets, we had, like 500 chats across 300 customers. There were key 7 columns, which were, generated, like chat transcript, customer ID, issue category, refund, if there is anything, chat rating. And this is how a particular chat looked like. And, this chat was then analyzed semantically and then, converted into structured information. So, why LLM based sentimental analysis? Why does it win over other models? So if you look at basically LLM based models, so negative sentiment is quite less as compared to others, because it's looking at a customer experience, not just a problem. So for an example, like a customer says, this is my third time my order got cancelled, I need a refund. Models like BERT or Lexicon, they'll probably rate it very negatively, while LLM model would look at whether the issue was resolved or not, and accordingly it will trim down the sentiment. Right. So all these 3 models were used for our prediction modeling. And then, if you look at the prediction results, so there were 2 surprising elements. One was like for lexicons and BERTs. Uh, if you look at the accuracies and all, they were all 100%, which is randomly true. You cannot have a model which would predict 100% correctly, while like LLM model had the variations, and then the best performer was light BGM. And then we also wanted to compare it against only the structured data. So the model was also run on the structured data. And then probability of churn was categorized into 4 categories: critical, high, medium, and low. So if we look at, while others look similar, important thing to note for the LLM model is it basically pushed a lot of customers out of those 1,000, like 951, into low category, while for the critical it was only 37 customers. Does this look surprising? Yes, it could be, because maybe the bias in our mind was, it would basically push more customers toward the critical. So we know that more customers are going to churn, but it also, on the contrary, it can ensure that, we are not actually doing false positives in terms of, pushing everyone towards the critical boundary, and which also helps in, doing the marketing and the recommendations correctly and to the right person. So basically, that's also the objective at the end, that a recommendation should reach only to the right person and not to the people who are not needing it. So if we look at the interpretations of the results, so when we looked at the BERT and the lexicon model, so 100% accuracy, what went wrong? Basically, maybe something in our data. The data was because data was generated synthetically, so maybe there was some issue in the data, there was bias in the data, which caused this. So it could be like, our false positives and false negatives were less, and true positives and true negatives were more. So it followed that model and, tried to like predict 100% correctly. Then what happened with Gen AI? So what happens is, like, when we looked at the results, okay, that, a lot of customers, very less percentage of the customers, like, are into critical, while most of the customers are into, comfortable zone. So because it not just, like, as mentioned previously, it looks at the total experience. So it could be like there is a customer who had done 30 orders, but there are no refunds, maybe because structured says, it's a low risk. But when we look at one of the chat conversations, that's signaling that they are planning to move to another client, another competitor. So Gen AI would critical, basically put it into critical risk. While similarly on the flip side, few orders low spend structured would call it at a high risk, while basically on the chat conversations, maybe Zomato gets appreciated, so Gen AI is going to reduce the risk levels. So can chat data improve the churn prediction? Yes, but that comes with a caveat that, it basically adds the richness flavor to the, data set we have, which is used for predicting the churn, but it should be taken with a pinch of salt. Right. So what's our recommendation in future course of action? First is use the real data for validating the models. Probably that can give us more insights. Second is maybe a POC can be done, on the LLM model, along with an, A/B testing on a certain set of customers to see, and how it's performing, and maybe the results can be assessed and, verified to ensure that, before rolling it out to all the customers. And then maybe this can be integrated into a customer support piece, wherein, the customer support team can get real-time insights into, what's the churn out probabilities of a particular customers, and accordingly, recommendations can be made to the customers during the live conversation, which is going to enhance the customer experience. So, and then last but not the least, the model should be continuously retrained based on the latest data to, refine the probabilities. So where does this model would help? So this would help in revenue growth, by increasing the customer lifetime value, will enhance in the customer experience, and will also help in, customer retention, if using LLM based, predictive AI model, where chat conversations are being used in your prediction model. So there are certain project guardrails that I wanted to talk about, but before that, I wanted to show how can this be used by a customer support executive. So I built a quick simulation. How can it be used? So I'll just quickly refresh the screen, and then you can see there is a live conversation going on between Meera Kapoor and a support executive. And then, system is also showing the churn probability, and it's basically getting evaluated correctly, and basically it's refining itself as the conversation progresses. So by the end, you see that the customer is not happy, and then at the same time recommendations are also being made in real time. And when, let's say, a real time offer is rolled out to the customer and customer is happy, that's going to bring down your churn probability, right? So similarly, maybe there is another customer who has some other problem, and when the probability was 64%, and then with issue being raised, it's moving higher towards into a critical risk, and then the recommendations are being made for to how to help this customer to ensure that the customer stays back when the offer is applied, customer is happy. That helps in reducing the churn probabilities. So moving back to to the guardrail. So as you can see, basically LLM model along with this recommendation engine. So this is something which should be, basically there should be a human in the loop. Like before, we are categorizing those customers who are into critical risk. A human in the loop is required, maybe a human eye who can look at the information, can verify whether that customer is worth going into a risk category. Similarly, the recommendation. So recommendation should be done with proper approvals. Without approvals, it can just go out of hand, and we may end up giving the customers unnecessarily offers when they are not needed. So with that said, I would like to close my presentation, and I'm open to your feedback and any questions if you have for me.
Thank you, Paritosh. Okay, so before getting into the feedback, audience, you can start voting for Paritosh. Here is a cure. Okay, Shivang sir, your feedback and questions for Paritosh.
Yeah, sure. Paritosh, really good detailed presentation. I think first of all, it took me because given my e-commerce background, I was okay, this is a really good example, but I struggled almost through the 10 minutes of your presentation, like how does churn link to sentiment analysis, right? Because churn is like people who then you started showing the demo, and I think that I was able to connect the dot because churn is like people get only a fraction of a unhappy customer will ever go to chat and then have this, right? So I think storytelling is very important. Trying to capture the audience, especially from a product management point of view. If this was an engineering deep dive, I think you would also ease it. But from a product management point of view, you have to capture the attention of the user and tell a really good story, which I feel you have it, but to me it came towards the end, and I was able to connect all of those dots, right? So that would be my biggest feedback. And I think it's maybe I think you over indexed on the technical part, which I really appreciate because that's what drives it. So that is one piece. The other piece which I kind of like a lot of my notes and my inputs was around like, how does churn relate to kind of like customer lifetime value and all of those things. I feel it was a stretch. So I think you anchored on a very narrow use case, and then kind of forgot the big picture because but I think for the use case that you focused on, you did a good job in kind of like building the solution and testing it out and all of those things. So that would be my take.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your scores?
I'll go after Prashant because I still have to kind of
Okay.
run
Prashant
it
sir,
through
your
the
feedback?
So Paritosh, great presentation. From a technical standpoint, I think this would have been an engineering deep dive, right? In terms of how it has been presented. And if it was that, 10 on 10, right? If it was that, like 5 on 5, if it was that. Um, I think apart from that, I agree with all the points Shivang has mentioned. I think you've been able to sort of display your technical chops well over the course of this presentation. What has been missing is the product chops, right? So see, so there are product managers who are technical in nature, who come from a technical background, right? But what is important, why they are product management is they are product managers is because they have product sense, right? So essentially, if you have, let's say, a hypothesis, right, and you have a solution for it, where do you plug it, right, is very important. And I think you also mentioned over the course of your presentation that your key personas are, customer. customer support executives, and also you mentioned product managers.
Mhm.
That's what you mentioned. But I didn't see that happening, right? Because like what Shivang mentioned as well is that if someone is not happy and they want to churn away and they want to move to another app, they might even not come to the support channel, right? They might just move out, right? So the first thing would have been, if the model results are promising, just see which of your how many of your users who are not even on the chat. Generally, how many of your users are prone to churn, and actually validate whether that's actually true or not, right? But yeah, storytelling is something, Paritosh, you'll have to work at. I think you just need to be nudged in the right direction. That potential is fully there. You have a great potential from an engineering standpoint to sort of articulate and go through the sequence of events of how the experimentation has happened and the results have been achieved. That same thing, that same scientific thinking, when applied on user journey, right, how products are designed, and if you're able to bring that flavor as well, it would be
Mhm.
an fully holistic sort of a product presentation, right? That's my comment, right? But yeah, I mean, like, great technical study, and I enjoyed the technical part of it, but you are over indexed on it, right? Like Shivang mentioned as well. I would give you a 3 on your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Shivang, sir, your scores for
Yeah,
the
I'll give 3 as well. Yeah.
3. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now let's look into the results, poll results. Thank you. Team 3, Narendra, Shika, Kapsi, Michael, please start sharing your screen.
Yeah. Can you just reset the timer, please?
Yes,
Yeah.
your
Should we
time
start?
starts now.
Yeah. Good evening, jury members and my dear friends. We are here to present our solution, Convert IQ. Before we begin presenting our product, let me quickly introduce my team members, who comprising of Shikha, Narendra, and myself, Mithil. So, and we are here focusing on one of the critical problems faced by all enterprises, is who is the right customer, what is the right time to approach a customer, and what are the right products to be offered to a customer. Today, all the enterprises, one second, yeah, today most of the enterprises faces one biggest problem, and they are interacting with customers, millions of customers on each everyday basis. But then while promoting a new product or even an add-on module, the biggest problem which they face is they treat each and every customer on the same page and with the lowest point of visibility. Most of the sales managers, customer success managers, product and marketing team spend equal amount of time on all the customers, irrespective of the likelihood of the conversion or irrespective of their interest in that product. I mean, look at the numbers. I mean, most of the times 50 to 60% these customers are not even converted. So looking at the persona for a customer relationship manager or customer success manager, 60% of the time she or he is wasting on the customers who are not even likely to be converted. So what is the solution? In today's AI world, rather than asking who is my customer, let's focus on providing a solution wherein the system would tell us this is the customer who is likely going to be converted. Our system bases the customer behavior patterns, the historical trends, the engagement on our trial websites, on our trial prototypes, would be generating data and sending it to my customer relationship manager or customer success manager, wherein he would be massaging that information, using that information, and readapting the system and converting and trying to convert that customer. System would be working on the historical patterns and charts, wherein it will be showcasing the conversion likelihood, and it will be allowing to not to waste resources engagement time on the customers are not likely going to be converted. To demonstrate this product, I would like my colleague Shikhar to showcase the prototype which we all have developed.
Shika, you can start. We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Okay, and I hope the screen is as well visible.
Yes.
Okay, so as Mithil mentioned, currently the customer success manager spends a lot of time in running behind all the customers who are like trying the add-on module. So here, what the problem we are solving is to help the customer success manager. If there is a module which is offered to a customer to try it out and see if that fits their use case or not, and will that customer is likely to convert or not. So what we have built a convert IQ application, which is going to help the customer success manager to figure out where to spend time and which are the customers who are likely to convert. So in case if an trial module is given to a customer to try it, whether that customer will purchase that module or not is what we are trying to figure out and helping the customer success manager. So when the customer success manager logs into the application, the customer success manager will get a data about or the idea about how all the customers who are trying the product is doing. It's also going to tell what are the likely customers to whom we can offer the trial. Okay, so on the dashboard, if you can see, there are like two tabs: the active trials and the trial candidates. The trial candidates will tell the CSM that these are the customers who are likely or ready for the trial add-on, while on the first tab, the active trials, the customer success manager will understand that these are the customers, these are using my add-on module and how they are doing it. Just by looking at the dashboard, the customer success manager will understand where should I focus my energy on. So these cards will give that information where to focus the energy on. And in case if the CSM wants to get into detail about a specific customer, CSM can drill down on a specific customer card and get the information. Okay, so what's the likely score for a conversion for this customer, and on what basis this score has been given. So for example, if a trial module is on, how many days the user is using the trial module, how many days are remaining, what are there any TAMP signals. So usually there is a technical account manager who is involved in enabling a new module for the customer, right? So what are the TAMP signals and what is the overall health for that customer. Based on this information, CSM can understand what are the next steps. They can also generate an AI brief about the customer, and they can decide what are the next steps. Should I send a proposal? Should I schedule a follow-up call? Should I deprioritize? Or should I mark this customer as converted? So what they can do from here, they can even, so if a call is scheduled, they can add a call log and add details about the call. What happened, what was the outcome, is there anything which customer wants to change or update in the application, is there something which I should pass on to the product manager so that they can improve or make the application better. So overall, from this, the CSM will be able to figure out whether this customer is likely to convert, and based on that, they can invest their energy on. So this is the part where CSM will focus their energy on. On the other hand, we also have built a admin console to understand what all data we have tested and what all we are trying. What all models we are using and what is the drift. It's very important to monitor the drift. So when we get the data, we created a trial application, we build the modules, and now when we will have the exact data about the customer converted or not converted, we will retrain the model here. Okay, so here is a dashboard which is built entirely for the admin, wherein they can understand the models active, the drift, how is the drift going on, what are the different sources from where we are getting the data for. So for this, we are getting the data from a CRM system. We are also getting the data from the customer analytics. Okay, and on the model health, again, the admin can check, how is the model performing. Is there a need to retrain, and based on that, the admin can trigger the retrain from here. In case there is a drift, the admin can check, okay, what all columns or what all data is changed, and on what are the new parameters which I should focus on when I'm training my new model. So that's about the Convert IQ. The primary persona is again the customer success manager, and the secondary persona is a admin here. Customer admin will be making sure that model or the overall application is working properly, wherein the customer success manager will use this application to check what are the right candidate and who are likely to convert to a paid customer. So that's about the demo part of it. I'll hand it to Narendra, and he'll quickly walk through you about the next steps, like the roadmap as well as the
Yeah.
deployment strategy.
Thank you, Shika. So, as Shika took over, we baked in a lot of ethical oversight plan and also handling model drift and bias and fairness into the application. So, while we were building this application, our focus was on ensuring that there is no bias, and we work on that. And we have focused on customer data privacy. We are scoring only those customers that have agreed to be part of this evaluation. And we also know that there is over reliance sometimes by the CSMs. So our trainings will be focused on letting them know that this is what a Gen AI has explained, and a human can override this. This is just a recommended action, not the must do action. So over to next slide. So with this, we want to highlight what this application can do to our current business. There is a 10% uplift in the upsell for the new modules, which is like significant. From the current baseline of 22%, we are expecting a 32 to go it up to 32%, which in effect will bring in additional revenue of 672K per annum. So this is also in addition to the 50% CSM time saved. Or to next slide. So we are here. The first part is build and test, which we have started. We are building this application on the synthetic data, and we are doing a shadow mode with no CSM access yet. And next will be piloting it with CSMs, where we are going to open it up to 2 to 3 CSMs, and we will see how this adoption is helping the conversion rates. And then based on this information, we are going to retrain the model if needed, and then do a full rollout in the company. So this is the plan, and thank you for your support. Over to Shika to close.
Yeah, so thank you so much. We are here just to get your feedback on the overall idea, as well as if you can give us a feedback on the aspects like a storytelling and the business case which we are trying to solve.
Thank you, team. Thanks for the presentation. Audience, please cast a vote for the team. Okay. Prashant sir, your feedback for the team?
So I think overall, this has been a very holistic presentation, right? So in terms of you have explained the problem statement well. You've also explained the persona that you intend to target well as well. And from a product demo standpoint, both what the core product is, right, and also for the sustain of the product, for the core AI features, for them to work properly, what an admin will look at, right? That part is also solved for. So that is that is definitely a plus point, right? So I think a great presentation, and um, yeah, I think this was a great presentation. I think a couple of areas to focus on would be on the presentation. So you've given some guesstimates, right? So there will be net revenue uplift of like 675K and stuff like that, right? So we need to understand what the denominator of that is, right? What are you saying? Like, this company does what in a year? Maybe if you could just have it. Maybe I didn't see it, but if it was on that slide as a big number that, for a company of X revenue, 675 is what we will generate, then it makes more sense, right? Because it sometimes feels like a number just out there, right? For the sake
Right.
of putting a number, right? So that is one thing. And overall, I think the product look and feel was also decent. You guys have understood you should the cherry on the icing on the cake, or the cherry on top would be like if you've done like a voice feature on the call where you put your feedback for a call, because that just makes the whole journey simpler. um, and you did mention about product managers.
Feedback.
So if you have a call, you can put the feedback and then you can
Yeah.
triage it to a product manager. If you could have built like a triage feature, like a button, it would have just looked like, I know not all features will work, right? It's a demo.
Yeah.
But then if you just put a button over there, then it would look like, okay, that's also something that we have thought out, right? Prioritize to some other queue. That's all. That's my feedback for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your scores for the team?
My score for this team would be 3.5.
3.5. Okay. Shivang, sir, your feedback for the team?
Yeah, I mean, it was good to listen through the presentation. So talk about storytelling. Storytelling is not just having the right story. It should not be monotonous. You should have the right kind of emotions baked in and try to. So I think you guys are. It was good to listen in. I would just kind of like ask you a couple of questions around like the from a product sense standpoint.
Yeah.
If a customer is already using your project, right? And if they already have a high likelihood of converting, why focus on them? Why not focused on? Because if you look at like the overall distribution, right? You like there is going to be this 20% who are anyways going to buy your product, right? Like the big chunk, the mass audience is that the middle band. Like why not focus on them? Why not understand what their pain points were to kind of like why they are using the product, try to overlay them. Maybe they have not yet discovered the killer feature that you are selling, and that's why they are not using it, right? So I feel there are a lot of hidden signals, and maybe some of your inputs might be biased because of that. But I would encourage you to kind of like think along those lines as well. Once you have the first version, I think the overall vision is good. But always think about like, this is an obvious thing. How can I kind of be better than because your competition will also be doing it. So how can I be better than the next person? So these are the areas where I would kind of encourage you guys to think through. But overall, it was good. Yeah, I would give you guys a 4. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you, sir.
you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, presenters and jury members. Before we announce the winner of Skillathon, juries, please accept the certificate of appreciation on behalf of IPL. We would like to hear experience on today's Skillathon and to share your feedback. And here are the poll results for Team 4. Thank you. Prashant sir, this is a certificate, and please share few experience of today's event, sir.
Yeah, I think I had a blast being a part of this event. So many great demos and such, so many people with great potential in terms of, and so many people, a lot of people from different backgrounds, right? So people over indexed on engineering, people over indexed on business, and I see the cohorts were also, most of the cohorts were well balanced, right? You had somebody technical, somebody functional, and coming together and sort of trying to solve for a problem. And great, great stuff, and good coverage in terms of the different problem statements, right? So that was also great. And yeah, I think I learned a lot from this, looking at all the different presentations as well. So I think that is really valuable to me. And yeah, an honor to meet all of you, and all the best in your careers ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us today. Shivang, sir,
Yeah,
please share your
yeah,
experience.
likewise, it's like, creative ideas, lots of effort. And I think one thing which I'm going to walk away is like, like everybody it came in well prepared. There was a clear transition from, one team member to the next team member. So all of that attention to detail shows, and it's very important, especially as product managers in large companies. So I think, overall amazing idea, lots of hard work I'm sure went into like building this product and kind of boiling it down to this 10-minute presentation. So great job. And any one of these product could be a company by itself in today's day and age. So yeah, good work. And
Thank you,
time
sir.
well
Thanks a
spent
lot for joining
on
us today.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So we appreciate your time and presence, sir. The insightful feedback questions we will encourage the students to look into the product with more clarity. And now it's time to declare the winner of Skillathon. So any guesses? Skillathon winners will get to take away voucher of 1,000 rupees. Any guess?
Convert IQ.
Yes, that's right. It's Team 4 who's the winner of today's Skillathon. Congratulations, team.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone,
Awesome.
for your
Congrats.
feedback.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let me share the screen. Yeah, team, you can start sharing your experience of today's event. How you're feeling today. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It was great to get such positive feedback and response from industry experts and big giants like PepsiCo and Walmart. I mean, we rarely get such kind of opportunity wherein people with such profound experience and such great level of expertise are able to look at our project and our presentation as a colleague rather than as a jury or as a harsh judge. I mean, all the feedback within like just 10 minutes without even knowing each other, it just compliments and encourages your entire journey. So thank you, jury, and thank you all the team members over here to being patient for listening to last 2 hours on this part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mithil.
Yeah, fine.
I felt it was good getting back into presentation modes. Always exciting, and getting to hear some constructive feedback as well as some pat on the back from leaders in the industry makes a lot of good weekend spent. So we have been working on this over the last few weeks. So this is very heartening. Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to echo what Narendra and Mithil said. It's a great learning experience, and it's a very good opportunity to hear from this industry leaders, right? We hear from our manager on a regular basis, but the person with we are working on a continuously, so they know us better, and then their feedback goes on the same lines. But hearing the feedback from the people who doesn't know us and giving us such a good feedback is such a good good feeling overall. And yeah, I'm happy. It's been like we are in this predictive AI workshop from past months, good learning experience and a good usage of time, especially on Saturday. So thank you so much for the opportunity, for the feedback. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Congratulations once again. Thank you all. Thank you, audience and juries, for being a part of today's Skillathon. So it was a pleasure hosting the event today. And thank you once again. Bye. Take care. See you next time.
Yep. And thank you, Soumya, for arranging it. So
Thank you, sir.
I know a lot of hard
Have a
work
good
went
day.
in. So
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Soumya.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
So, Soumya, this certificate would be sent to us?
Yeah, it'll be sent to you to your
Okay,
IPL
thank
email.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.